Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King, and today I'm gonna be giving you part 35 of What If Naruto Was Neglected with Jashin sealed inside of him. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new series over on Anime King of What If Naruto Was Broken by the people that he loved, and enjoy that guys. And also, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was One of the Seven Ninja Swordsmen over on Anime King as well guys. And if you're new, yes, I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, and Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all for your help and your support, and yeah, without further ado, would you say begin this new episode start? The intro. So, the last part that we left off. As new alliances were formed. After all, no one wanted to die. Everyone had their goals, everyone had their plans. And with Naruto being everyone's enemy, plans were being formed where people that didn't like each other now were forced to work together, such as Orochimaru. And Jashin, who never cared about humans before, had to work with the Leaf Ninjas, where the rest of the elemental nations they gathered their forces to prepare themselves. Naruto's already wiped out the entire hidden village, and that was a stone. He gave them 3 days, that was all that they got. And he was on the move once again. Konan was with the masked man who finally found Naruto. Konan was gonna take him down with her, and then she can finally rest. As Naruto was having a stroll, a nice family outing, with his son, Hades, and his beautiful wife Gaara, as they made their way, when Konan appeared, Hades begged them to handle it, as they told him to go ahead, as Konan fight against the boy. The boy was ridiculously strong and not to mention fast, as Konan brought down the 60 million paper bombs, but he used hellfire to burn them all. As Konan was shot by that, Hades delivered a final strike to her, as Gaara then burned her for interrupting their family outing, and set her on flames. No matter how she burned, she wouldn't die, as Naruto was in control of the pure world, as he could see where the souls go. In actuality, Naruto was basically some kind of deity, perhaps even a god, if they want to call it that. Yet he wasn't showing off. Well, he was, but he wasn't launching his power of everyone, because in actuality they didn't stand a chance against him. He had other plans, bigger plans. As they strolled, they were attacked by the fire daimyo guards. One of them made a comment, and Gaara didn't like it. Being the gentleman that he was, Naruto blew the entire place up, as Hades wiped out all the samurais. When they arrived at Konoha, everyone was already there outside. Minato, all of them were armed, ready to fight. Minato cursed as they weren't ready yet. Orochimaru hasn't done, not to mention Jashin was nowhere to be seen. They needed more time. But Naruto sent Hades to go and fetch Hinata for him, that's what he wanted. As Naruto delivered pressure onto the others as they could not move. As Hades got the image in his head as he made his way, Hinata knew what was going to happen. And with the way things are set up right now and the things that she heard, most likely, everyone is going to die. She clutched onto Hanabi, who was taken along with her, as Naruto was curious at the little girl, as he realized it was Hinata's small sister. To further mock Menma, Naruto revealed everything that's been happening right under his nose since they were younger, as Menma was broken, as he watched Hinata allowing herself to go along with it. Hinata didn't want to look at him or anyone else as she felt ashamed, as she cursed Naruto several times over, but he did not care, as he took her and went away. They still had 3 days, there was nothing to worry about. Hinata realized there was no exiting situation, so she had to go along, as she went up the stairway, as Naruto had called for the castle from Tartarus. As she climbed up the step along with her sister, as she reassured her that everything was going to be fine. Well, she did not know, but she was sure. The rest of the people weren't gonna have it so good. Meanwhile, As Naruto made his way with Zetsu as they arrived, as Naruto brought the Gedo statue with him, as Zetsu gave him the location the masked man was watching, as Obito was waiting for the perfect opportunity, the perfect chance where he might get something out of this. As he watched Naruto feed the Gedo statue to something in the water, something large. As Naruto smiled, he said a couple of words. He said rise, World Eater. So yeah guys, that's basically as we left off. You guys can switch across to the PlayStation for yourself. So this will be in this new episode. We begin this new episode at the World of Adam, as Jashin stood there, along with her brother, as Yami had a regretful look on his face, as he was holding something in his palm. It was a strange black ball. As he looked towards Jashin, "Don't give me that look," she said. "We need this. It's the only way. Centuries of applying by my job. I know I'm going against my own rules." She sighed, as she knew that this was basically her fault. He had just absorbed all of his souls into that ball in his hand. This was a last-ditch effort if they could not muster up the power to defeat Naruto. Their brothers and sisters, there was just 4 of them, combined that power with Jashin's, and Yami, who was stronger than the others. Lucifer was the strongest out of them all, and then Jashin, then Yami. When it comes towards power, Yami was a bit stronger than Jashin, but they were the top 3. The others were weaker in comparison to them. So they believed that he could do this. Naruto was inexperienced. He didn't know how to use all of that power. They were just testing the waters first. If they could do this without absorbing these souls, it would be the best way. But if they can't, Jashin would have to absorb it all. That power should be enough to wipe him off the face of this earth, because they had to get rid of him. They could not allow him to go back to Tartarus, because if he did, he would just plan another way to escape and gain more power. So they had to completely reduce him to nothingness. They had to sever his connection to everything. As she held out her hand, her brother slowly placed the ball right in her palm. He gave her a stern look. "Look, we're both on the same side here," she said. "I know that I've been a real bitch in the past, and this is basically all my fault. Basically. It is your fault," he said. Yeah, she said. He gave her a stern look. "Fine. It is my fault," she said. "I messed up." "We all messed up before. Not this badly," he said. "Yeah, I know. Just give me a break, okay? I knew I messed up. But I'm gonna fix it. I promise." "Let's pray that you do," said Yami, as she gave him a firm nod. Meanwhile that was going on, the rabbit goddess, after being sealed away for so long, the boredom, it was suffering, it was stifling. Kaguya Osusuke was a being that came to this world where she fell in love. And she changed her ways. She ran from her past. She knew that one day they would come back for her, the other Osusukes, but she was preparing until her sons, they sealed her away. But before she got trapped completely, she released her will to take on the role of bringing her back. He was taking a very long time. To Kaguya, she was trapped in a strange confinement of chains. She didn't have much room for freedom, she was just stuck there. Time passed rather quickly though. Something strange happened one day as she met this strange boy. No, he wasn't a boy. He was a man. As she came to see that when he came closer, he was drifting in the emptiness. He somehow broke the boundary of the seal that connected her to this world and to the elemental nation. He just drifted there. He did not break her seal, but he broke the fabric of somewhere else to get in here. She was first shocked by his appearance. He was a handsome person. That caught her, yes. But she wanted to know how did he got here. He told her he had the time as he gracious with his story. She must say it has been the wonderfulest tale as she ever heard before. Someone being broken down and rise up, and now coming back from hell itself to get revenge on those who wronged him. After being locked away for so long, his charms were like spectral to her. It didn't take too long for her to fall for them, and he was not easy with laying them on. In actuality, He was a top-class pervert, but it suited him. He was full of confidence. He didn't hesitate on speaking. His words were straightforward. He was able to break the seal that had her restrained like this, but he still did not break the one that tethered her to the elemental nation. At least she could walk around freely. She decided to help him with his task. Well, before that, he made her feel alive once again. They went at it like crazy animals. God, how she missed the opposite gender body. It was amazing. Being a very powerful being, it was rather strange that she was rather submissive in the bedroom. Well, that was good for Naruto, because he was a rather dominant person. Kaguya was able to help them by linking both him and Gaara by the crack that Naruto created in the seal, so that their plan could go underway. And now she was waiting for him to finally come and free her, as she sat right on the grassy floor. The air was blowing calmly and gentle. It was then it changed. The world itself started darkening. The sky turned pitch black. The grass started to shrivel up and die. She felt the feeling of death, agony, pain, consuming hatred, ripping through the seal. She felt it. The seals that her son created was nothing when his hand reached in and tear through it like it was nothing. She felt it. As she felt it shatter, a warm, beautiful smile graced her face. She was incredibly beautiful, and the smile just showed how radiant she was. He appeared in darkness as his form took shape. She was amazed when she noticed his new form. He seemed to have had an upgrade. He stepped towards her. She didn't say a word. As he stood in front of her, his eyes roaming over her, it made her feel all tingly all over. She was then grabbed roughly. As he grabbed her chin for her to look up at him, I must say, being locked away in here for so long, you must get rather bothersome. It's been quite a while, said Naruto as he looked over her. I mean, what kind of world is it where someone can trap you for so long, denying that body of yours the pleasure that you need? As his hand went over her kimono, before he reached towards the top, he ripped it clean off. As a grin came on Naruto's face. Meanwhile that was going on, the eyes of a man that once was called the god of this nation opened. The man was none other than Hagoromo Osusuke, the sage of the sixth path. He felt it, the seal shattering. But not only that, as he awoken, he felt something else. The world. Something was wrong, gravely so. He needed answers. He couldn't believe that someone was able to shatter his mother's seal. He didn't even notice that this was going on. Whatever this person was, whoever it was, they prevented anyone from noticing Kaguya, including him, despite him being dead. The man was hailed as a god for a reason. He was supposed to be alerted the moment the seal was being broken, but yet he didn't notice anything. He then felt something strange. The connection between him and the mortal realm was easily stepped into. Something was definitely wrong. The world wasn't balanced. So when he appeared in the mortal world, standing at a hill, he wondered what the hell was going on. He looked around as he saw the sky was dark like night. But it was not because it was night, it was that gaping wormhole in the sky. His mother was free, but she had not yet returned. He didn't know what was going on. As Hagoromo Osusuke passed through the elemental nation like a ghost, a great calamity was gonna fall on this earth. He needed to find someone suitable to share his power with them, to defeat his mother and send her back where she came from. Because if she was not stopped, things would be bad. But little did he know, that was the least of their worry. Meanwhile that was going on, the person that Hagoromo was being drawn to was currently lying down in his bed. War was coming, yes, but the person was broken. Many people tried to talk to him, but he didn't talk. Hinata's name was going through the village. People didn't have time to gossip, but many bad things were being said, as they couldn't believe what they saw. She had been doing this since she was younger. Many times she could have stopped it. She even went to visit him. Times Minma walked in, and the lie about Naruto violating her. She was the one that gave in and accepted it. Most thought that she didn't have a chance, but given recent actions and what they saw of the past when she was younger, it was clear to them that she wanted this. She could have told someone, did something, but yet she said absolutely nothing. Even with the numerous times of him doing that to her. Minma felt broken. The girl that he loved, that he would have gave anything for. He felt like she reached into his chest and tear his heart out without hesitating. He had felt depressed when he had gotten drunk and been with that random woman while he was on his mission. He felt angry at himself, and yet behind his back she was sleeping with Naruto. And yet he lowered his head in shame. He felt pathetic. His brother had broken him. He said that he would. It seems like it just took him a while. As Minma lay there unmoving, until he saw a light, as someone stopped in front of him. Minma blinked. "Who are you?" he said, as a man stood there. Meanwhile that was going on, Minato was currently in Danzo's underground root base that at the moment Orochimaru was using. Orochimaru was smiling as he walked Minato towards his creations that would be helpful for this war. There was no doubt from what they heard from Jashin Naruto had an army of rabbit demons that would be embarking on the elemental nation. So Orochimaru decided to create demons of his own. Well, not exactly demons, cursed beasts. Minato stood there at the forefront as he saw all these strange, grotesque monsters that were once humans. If not for this war, Orochimaru would have been executed for the things that he had done. But they need them, and they could not deny that. Minato had to swallow his pride, his Hokage status, everything, because they need this man right now, who was laughing because he knew that they could not outright kill him, because they needed him. How fate had twisted in his favor. "Are you sure you have them under your control?" asked Minato, as the things growled at him. Their eyes looked psychotic. They looked like they wanted to rip him apart. "You'd have no need to worry," Hokage-sama, Orochimaru said, his tone almost sounding mocking. "They are fully under my control. They won't attack you. They will only go after the enemy. Once this is over, these things, they will be destroyed." "Well, the world will be different then, Hokage-sama. Are you sure?" "You speak like you're loyal back to the leaf," asked Minato. "Well, I was gonna ask you for a proposition to come back to my home. I must say, I miss it a lot." Minato scoffed at that. "Are you serious?" he said. "Why would I lie about that? I indeed miss my home, and I would like to return, if you were able to pardon me of my past actions." "And why would I do that?" "Because I can be a great essential to the leaf, as you can see. After all, we all know that certain villages won't stay true to their word. And once this calamity is over, do you really believe that everything will remain peaceful? You're going to need me." Minato narrowed his eyes. He didn't know if it was the stress of the moment or anything, but he kind of saw Orochimaru reasoning, and he cursed at that. Orochimaru smiled. "We'll talk about this after we win." "What about the others?" asked Minato. Orochimaru slammed his hand together. "Edo Tensei," he said. "To think, not too long ago, I was going to use this to kill you," Orochimaru said in a mocking tone. "Just release the coffins already," said Minato. Orochimaru just brought out the powerful foes. As Minato saw, he clenched his fists when he noticed a person standing there. As Orochimaru looked towards him, he's needed. One of those persons was Jiraiya the Sannin. His eyes were closed. There was Nagato Uzumaki standing proudly. And there was Mamoru Uchiha. Is that? Yes. The famous ghost of the Uchiha, Madoru Uchiha, Orochimaru said. He will be necessary in the upcoming battle. Is this all Minato asks? Oh, there is a lot more, Hokage-sama. I'm just showing you the heavy hitters that I have. The rest will come on the battlefield. Have you contacted back with Jashin? Not yet. But she should be here soon. Things have turned, haven't they? To believe that we were once enemies and now we're friends. I wouldn't call us that, said Minato. Well, I suppose you're right, Orochimaru said. His tone so full of humor. It just sounded like he was up to something. Minato did not trust him one bit, believing if Orochimaru got a chance, he would betray them in a heartbeat. Yes, he would. He was a sly, slick, corrupted bastard after all. Meanwhile that was going on, Kushina was currently looking at a photo. It was a photo of Naruto when he was younger. A baby photo that was taken weeks after he was born, before everything had happened. As she looked towards the photograph, looking from this innocent baby to this monster that has now appeared, she heard footsteps as she turned. Mom? As she saw Mito standing there. Mito, honey, she said that smile. Are you okay, Mom? Yeah, I'm fine, said Kushina. What's up, she asked. I'm worried about Menma. He isn't talking to anyone. Honey, you must understand what he's going through. We all thought that, well, you know what happened. But it seems like we were lied to. Mito clenched her fists. How could Hinata do this? She was always a sweet, gentle person. She was always honest and she was my friend. How could she sleep with that monster? Kushina shook her head. I really don't know. Mom, do you think we're gonna survive this? As Kushina gave her a firm nod. Despite his strengths, Naruto has a flaw. He's a heartless monster. And that will come back to bite him in the ass, I'm sure of it. He won't win this. He will not rule over the elemental nation. If I have to, I will cut him down myself, she said. Because if he destroys the army and come towards us, he will make this family suffer. And as my vow as your mother, I vow to protect each and every one of you no matter what. You don't have to worry about that's the voice. As they turned to see Menma standing there, something about him was different. He looked so calm. Menma, said Mito. Because I'll be the one to kill him, said Menma, as he opened his eyes. They saw his eyes, they were shocked. Meanwhile that was going on, Zetsu stood at the mountain. Naruto had vanished, saying that he would be back, and yet nothing, as Zetsu was waiting. Zetsu had not sensed Obito was currently at distance away watching. Obito had heard what Naruto said, World Eater. He was curious what was under the sea. He was really curious, but he could not go there. He did not know where Naruto went. And given recent development, he was not too wise of thinking that he could actually defeat Naruto at this moment. But whatever that thing down there was, it took the Bijus. So it should be powerful enough to give him the power that he needed. Because when this war does finish, he'll be the last man standing. And he will conquer his dreams by fulfilling his plan of the infinite Tsukuyomi. And no one will stop him. He stopped thinking when he watched as the world. It was like the world itself ripped open. A pocket dimension that was literally sucking everything else inside. He had to stop himself from being sucked in when he saw two people emerge. One of them was Naruto, but the other woman he didn't notice. Her hair was tied up in a ponytail. It was not long as it was supposed to be. Obito was shocked when he saw the eye in her forehead, a red Rinnegan. It was a Rinne Sharingan. Her two pupilless eye, the Byakugan, horns coming from her head. She was wearing a tight black bodysuit that showed off all of her curves. She had a black staff in her hand, and she was also wearing a white coat over that parted at the middle to show off her sizable chest, and it went loose at the footing. It had white Megatama markings running down it. Zetsu was shocked to see his mother like this. Mother, he said. As Kaguya turned towards her will, she created him to fulfill her dream. But yet he kept her waiting so long. As she looked towards him, I'm disappointed, she said. You took so long to free me, and yet Naruto did it so easily. As she shook her head, Mother, you have to understand, things weren't silent, she said. Her tone was stern. As Naruto simply smirked, Zetsu looked towards him with a glare. Oh, I feel there ain't, said Naruto. On what? Oh, easy, said Naruto. That you were an incompetent bitch. Wasting so much time trying to free her, when it could have been done so easily. Well, I guess you just weren't in the right place at the right time. And recently, you've been annoying me. That is why. As Naruto raised his hand, Zetsu was yanked out of the earth as Naruto grabbed his throat. Goodbye. Zetsu screamed as he was turned into dust. Was that really necessary, Kaguya asked. He was getting annoying, said Naruto. Besides, I've already filled you in. Our intense love-making session wasn't enough to fill you with all that knowledge. Was it not, he asked. A small blush came on her cheeks. The rabbit goddess acting this way. Well, Naruto can surely change people. For the better, or perhaps for the worse. Don't worry. There's many more of that time to come, he said. But first, let me take care of this pest. As Naruto vanished, Obito looked around. Hey, Obito jumped slightly. He didn't even turn as he jumped into his Kamui, sucking himself away. Obito stood there, in his dimension. He didn't understand. How the hell did he notice him? He had suppressed himself to the limit. No one should have noticed him. Damn it. Now he knew that he was on his trail. It wasn't going to be easy to do this again. Whoa, nice place you have here. Obito was left speechless as he heard that voice. As he couldn't believe what he was hearing. As Naruto was looking around his Kamui dimension, Obito stepped back in shock. How did I enter your space, said Naruto. Simple. I followed you. Obito could not understand. Oh, well, once you were going in, I just jumped in as well. Kind of faster than you can think, so yeah. I know you were following me this entire time, you know? I mean, it was a given. I can sense every living thing on this planet. So you can't hide from me no matter how much you suppress your chakra. Because I'm not searching for your chakra. I'm searching for your life force, said Naruto. I thought that you would have done something by now, like attack me or plan a surprise attack or something. But you truly disappoint me. Zetsu had told me that you were the secret leader of the Akatsuki. But you're just a coward. You were the one manipulating that Rinnegan guy? I'm disappointed in him. I must say. Naruto waved his hand as he opened his palm. He looked right in the center of his palm as Obito heard screaming. You know, Rinnegan guy, said Naruto. I'm truly disappointed. Obito was confused until he saw a spectral of Nagato being burned. He was being burned alive, yet his skin was not melting as he was screaming. He couldn't even stop to talk as Naruto snapped his finger and vanished. Obito was shocked towards the sight. Oh, don't be afraid, said Naruto. I won't send you there. You know, said Naruto as he sat down recently, I've been getting too hard on people. I mean, yeah, he gave me a fight, but it was not pleasant, so I punished him by throwing him in the pits of fire and making sure that he suffered without dying. I mean, that's too harsh, right? Obito said nothing as he looked at Naruto from behind. As he just watched him. If you're planning on killing me, you better strike now, said Naruto, while my back is turned. Guess you're not gonna do anything, said Naruto. So, what do you want, Naruto asked. Obito looked at him. What? What do you want? I told you I've been doing nothing but bad lately. Perhaps I'll do good. I'm gonna fulfill your wish, Naruto said. Obito narrowed his eyes. Yes, I am serious, said Naruto. Yes, I am reading your mind, said Naruto. Obito blinked in confusion. Yes, you can't hide anything from me. Yes, you can't run away because I'll just track you down. As Obito narrowed his eyes. Oh, Ren, is it? How did you... Are you deaf? Said Naruto. I'm reading your mind. So who is this Ren? Oh, I see. So you lost her. You can't block me out now. You're subconsciously thinking about her, so yeah, I can see it. Whoa, that must have been harsh. Kakashi? Huh, I guess I got a bit of revenge for you then. I ripped his arm off that he used to take her life. Good on me, said Naruto, as he gave him a smile. So how about I do that favor for you? As Naruto reached and opened a black wormhole as he reached in, his eyes closed. He then yanked something out of it. Obito froze when he saw that innocent face, looking around, shocked, not understanding what was going on. What did you... I told you I was gonna help you out, said Naruto, by granting you a peaceful life with the one that you love. Well, I brought her back when she was kind of young, so... Well, that's on you, that's your problem, said Naruto. I already did my one good deed of the day. Ren? Ren blinked as she looked around confused, and she didn't know what was going on. She couldn't remember anything other than she reached towards her chest, but there was no pain or no hole. She looked towards the masked stranger. Who are you? Where am I? She asked. Obito clipped off his mask. She noticed his face as she tried to... Obito? She said confused. He gave her a nod. As Naruto started to walk away. Have fun, he said. He then paused. Oh, I almost forgot. I'm a cruel, wicked, cold-hearted bastard. As he raised his hand, a ball of pure malice was brought into the dimension. As Naruto released it, he laughed as it wiped everything out of existence, tearing Obito and Ren to pieces before they could even say ah. As Naruto laughed amongst the myths and chaos, he completely obliterated the dimension. All of the cubes are gone, just as space, empty floating space with nothing inside. That was fun, said Naruto, as he exited the dimension. What took you so long, said the voice, as Naruto turned towards Kaguya. Oh, sorry about that, he said. Guess I was having a bit too much fun. Now, he held out his hand. Shall we? As they made their way. Meanwhile, in the floating castle, Hanabi didn't know what to do or what was going on anymore. She had saw what her sister had did with that guy. She knew that he was the enemy, so she did not understand why her sister had did that. But her sister refused to say anything about it. And she didn't know what to say anymore. She didn't know why her sister brought her here. Was her sister along with the enemy, but her sister told her she was doing this for her because she didn't want to lose her. She could not understand what she meant by that. They need to fight him. Why are they joining him? As she was called away by that red-haired woman, and now she was left here. The place was large. She was sitting on a rather comfy sofa when that boy came up to her. He was just staring at her with a smile on his face. He was kind of cute, but he was the enemy. What do you want? She said. You're feisty, just like your big sister. Must say I like it. Perhaps I get that from my dad. I like feisty girls. What do you want from me? She asked. Just want to be your friend, he said. Why would I be friends with the enemy? The enemy? What do you mean? You people are planning to destroy the world, are you not? Destroy the world? Oh, you mean enslaving you people? Oh yeah, that's right, said Hades. She looked towards him with a dead glare. Get away from me, she said. But why do you care? He asked. My friends. My family. Friends? Family? Who are your friends? He asked her. Hanabi looked down and she didn't really have friends, as she was mostly stuck to the Hyuga compound. She didn't even get to go to the academy yet because she was being taught in the Hyuga fighting style. So she didn't went to the academy. But her father, well, her father has always been cold to her. He's always been nice to her elder sister because she was heir of the clan and she was coming along nicely while her could not match up to her sister. But still, the elders treated her terribly, saying that if she could not Catch up to her sister, she will be branded as a branch member. Something that she didn't want. Something she prayed that she did not receive. Hey! As she felt herself being poked on the forehead, she slapped away Hades' hand. Don't touch me, she said to him. As Hades smiled. I like you, he said. Well, we'll have a long time to become friends. And then perhaps lovers, he said. She spat. Like I would ever go for someone like you. What's wrong with me, say Hades. I mean, I know I'm handsome. I get my looks from my dad. Just look at me. As he looked in the mirror. I mean, god damn it, he said. As he looked himself up and down. What a handsome boy. So why? Why won't you like me? Because you're a monster, she said to him. Monster? Huh. You know what would be fun? I don't, she said. Well, once my dad and everything is done right here, you and I can go to a separate place where we can take over as the new rulers, kings and queens. Where my dad and mom won't be. Because wherever they are, they will be the king and queen there. And I will be stuck being the prince. But you can be my queen. She turned her head. You are a princess, right? I mean, you surely look like one. You're all cute. And those eyes of yours, they're rather beautiful. A small blush came in her cheek as she shrugged it off. Stop talking to me, she said. As he simply laughed. All due time, he said. They then heard footsteps. Dad! Said Hades as he saw Naruto walking towards him. As he saw the beautiful form of Kaguya, Hades looked up in awe. Whoa, he said. As Hanabi looked towards Kaguya's eyes to see the Byakugan's and the strange eye in her forehead. What kind of monsters were they? You're beautiful, said Hades as he looked up towards Kaguya. As she looked towards him. Your son is as charming as you, I see, Kaguya said. Well, he is my boy after all, said Naruto. The bloodline is strong there. As he patted Hades on his head. Sir, my son, but she would destroy you, said Naruto. Besides, you can't make your little friend over there jealous, said Naruto as he walked away. As Hades turned his head. Oh, sorry about making you jealous, he said. What? I was not jealous. Why the hell did I be jealous, said Hanabi. Oh, you're not? Oh, alright then. Hey, want something to eat? I do not. Her stomach gave her away as her stomach rumbled. As Hades laughed, she blushed in embarrassment. Just leave me alone, she said, as she wondered where Hinata was. Human food is really delicious. I'm gonna go and get you some. Well, to you. It will just be normal food. I'll be back, he said as he flew off. As she sat up, turning back towards the window, the place was vast and large. She then noticed a massive television came in front of her. As it just appeared out of nowhere, she blinked as there was a remote on her left side. What the hell was going on? Technology like these were not in the Haiga compound. She knew about television, of course. They were in Konoha, but it was not that popular. They were mostly popular at Land of Snow. She had been there once before, with her father, and she had saw them. Have fun, said a voice. As it was that boy, she ignored it. Meanwhile, as Naruto and Kaguya made their way, as they came upon a strange sight, inside one of the rooms, in a rather large bed, Hinata was tied up. Black straps tied her hands and legs to the bedposts. As she could not do anything, she was spread eagle on the bed, just left in her underwear. A cackling Gara stood there, with a whip in her hand. Hinata's face was red, like she was about to pop. As Gara struck her once more. Come on, admit that you like it. I don't, Hinata said. You know, if you keep on lying, it's just gonna get worse. Besides, I can smell how aroused you are. As she whipped her again. Well, now this scene is wonderful. As they turned towards the door, Hinata quickly looked away. What's the point of looking away, said Naruto. I mean, I can see everything. As she growled in anger. As she looked towards a new woman standing there. Ah, Kaguya, said Gara. You finally made it. As Gara reached over towards one of the boxes and came back with 4 straps as well. As Kaguya looked towards her with a determined glare. Oh, you think you'll get out of this? You're next. You must be crazy, said Kaguya, as she turned towards Naruto with a defiant glare. Don't look at him. Right now, right here. I'm in charge. And you two are both my bitches, she said. Time skip. 3 days later, the time frame was finally up. It was finally time. The war that decided the fate of humanity. If it was gonna end, or if it was gonna prevail, no one knew. Well, they just had to give it their all, right? And make sure that they survive. Or if they die, they go to the blazing, strong hit to the enemy force. Nations were marching. Kumo, Konoha, San, Kirin, marching towards one location. They could not send in all of their troops at once, as they didn't know if he had the power to decimate them all. The ones at the front line knew that they were gonna die first, but they had to give it their all. Everyone wanted to be the one to kill the monster and free this world. But the thought of death was clearly on their mind. The Kages were on the battlefield. They had seen the strength of the enemy. They wanted to take him down. Standing back and watching them slaughter their forces would just be a waste of time. Besides, before the real battle began with the shinobis, they were gonna send in the soldiers that would not die. And that was the Edo Tenseis. That was the first show. If that failed, they sent in their shinobis. And if that failed, and the Kages died, well, they were all screwed. As that was going on, Hinata was looking through a window. 3 days of non-stop torturing, sexual torturing. She had passed out countless times. She couldn't even count anymore. They got her there, over 100 times now. Gaara was persistent, and she couldn't lie, it was amazing. She knew that all the hopes of her returning back home was done for, because all the truth had came out, and she could not return home. They all hated her by now, including Menma. He perhaps saw her as a monster, who treated him like garbage, and did this behind his back. Well, she did. She knew what she was doing, from she was younger. She just couldn't get rid of that raw attraction that she felt towards him. And now, here she was, living in the house of a demon, unable to free herself. A demon that constantly pleasured her sexually, and there was nothing she could do about it. And his wife, that was even worse than him when it comes towards these acts, because she liked to tie people up, and you couldn't stop her. There was no way of stopping her. She could overpower you, force you. But still, Hinata sighed as she looked towards the horizon. The sky had gotten darker than before, if that was even possible. Death was coming. Death and destruction. She heard footsteps behind her. As she turned, she blinked. If she didn't know who he was, she might think that he was crazy, because of the way that he was dressed and he was going to war. He was in a loose, open shirt, black pants, barefooted. His hair was a mess, as he was eating a cinnamon roll. You know, I understand why you like these things so much. They're amazing, said Naruto. As she looked towards him as he stepped beside her. Looking at the view, he said, "Don't worry, I'll change it soon enough." "Can't you stop this?" she asked. "Huh?" said Naruto. "Stop this before things get worse." "You mean call off the attack?" said Naruto. "Yes. Please," she asked. "I'll do anything." "Well, you already do anything," said Naruto, "but what exactly would you give me in return for calling off my well-thought plan for thousands of years now?" "Anything you want," she said. "Kill your sister," said Naruto. She blinked in shock. What? Why would you ask me that? You said you'd do anything. "So, kill your sister, and I'll call this war off." Hinata clenched her fists. Everyone down there hate her. If she saved them, they would still hate her, the ones in the village. But some of them would be grateful to her. But her sister. She had explained to Hanabi what was going on. Hanabi was angry with her, that she had allowed herself to be defiled like that. But she was the only one that she got up here, so she couldn't really stay mad at her for too long. And Hades was, well, being too nice to her. If you didn't know who he was, you would have liked the kid because he was nice. He was sweet. He was a gentleman. It was weird. His father was the exact opposite. She couldn't kill her sister. She couldn't do that. She did not answer in time as Naruto placed a hand on her face. As he brought her cheek up. You don't want me to stop. The truth is already spilled about your involvement with me. So if I stop now, they will surely execute you for what you have done with the enemy. Besides, it's more fun this way. Bringing you at your peak every single day, till your legs shake, till you can't control your breathing. Isn't that what you want? Pleasure. For eternity, said Naruto. Eternity, she said. What's the point of dying, said Naruto, when you have a god at your side? You know, that's the right way of addressing myself from now on. I know that I basically absorb the devil, but I'm literally a god. So you're not gonna call it off, are you? Nah, said Naruto. I'm not gonna kill everyone. We're gonna have fun. In time you will come to understand that torturing people is a lot of fun. Never, she said. Well, you might say that now, but soon enough, we'll see your real face. What? After years of enjoying the pleasures of people screaming, you will come to enjoy it, he said to her. She looked towards him with a glare. Don't you touch my sister, she said. Your sister? Oh, no, said Naruto. I might be a bastard, a psychopath, a killer, a sociopath, but, well, I'm not into them when they're that young, you see? I'm not a pedophile, said Naruto. Don't know why, just never suit me, said Naruto. Huh, that's the one thing I never tried before. I guess I'm a decent person after all. You're not, she said. I guess you're right, said Naruto. As he watched, the skies tremble. I guess it's time, he said. As he waved his hand in front of her, Hinata watches everything, all of the glasses, turn into a one-way mirror, where she could see the entire world outside. What are you doing? As Naruto snapped his finger, she sat down in a chair as she blinked. As in front of her was a table, all sorts of food, fine wine, dining. You know, I am a romantic, said Naruto. I do love to treat people I care about. So enjoy the show. It's gonna be bloody, he said. In time you will come to realize that this is the only right way. See you soon. With that he vanished. Naruto made his way, as Kaguya was currently on the bed. She was sleeping. As Naruto shook his head. What did you do to her, he said, as he looked towards Gaara who was getting dressed. As she snapped her finger, the clothing just appeared over her. How do I look, she said, ignoring his question. Majestic as always, said Naruto. As she then looked towards Kaguya. Despite being this powerful being, she could barely go a couple of rounds with me. I mean, come on. In time she would learn, said Naruto. She better learn soon. She could barely keep up with you. At least Hinata try. She passed us a couple of times, but she always snapped back in the game. Well, she does try, said Naruto. And besides, she's hot. Yeah, can't wrong you there. She is hot, said Gaara. Well then, my lady, said Naruto. Shall we? You're not gonna get dressed, she asked. Oh yeah, said Naruto. As he stepped, black boots appear, white pants, and a black and white shirt, and a black coat over him, with the kanjis for God on the back. God, she said. My new title, said Naruto. Think it's the best way to refer to myself as. Yeah, she said. As a coat came over her, it said goddess. Perfect, said Naruto, as the both of them made their way. Meanwhile, the troops were being led, as Minato was currently standing with Orochimaru. They stood right at the valley of the end on the ridge looking down. The long staircase leads straight towards the massive tower in the sky. As they saw two people descending from it and stop in mid-air. I'm confused. Is it just the two of you? Said Naruto. I mean, does everyone else decide to give up? Not on your life, said Minato. On my life? Oh, you think you can... Oh yeah, I understand now. You think you can kill me, said Naruto. So, Orochimaru, long time no see. Indeed it has, Naruto-kun. How about you join me, said Naruto. Minato narrowed his eyes. You know that you're gonna lose, so how about you join me? I could use you in my ranks as a sick, twisted scientist. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to pass. Why? Because the moment I step towards you, you're gonna try and kill me. I can feel it from here. Smart instinct, said Naruto. Well then, said Gaara. Is this all? As Minato looked towards Orochimaru, Minato threw a kunai in front of him. As Naruto watched as it fell, straight down to the large chasm that he had destroyed. Minato went through hand sign, the kunai glow. As he reverse summoned using the Irish-in, there was many flashes down below. Orochimaru went through hand sign. Sealing bindment, he said as he slammed his hand down. Markin spread off his hand and ran through the ground as he ran straight down the chasm as Naruto looked down. As Naruto waited, it was then that they rose. Strange creatures that looked like default humans rose out of the chasm, looking bloodthirsty and crazy. Wow. And you call me a monster, said Naruto. This is the final stance where we end this once and for all. Is that so? Said Naruto. Well then, I guess it's time. My fellow demons, said Naruto. Your new god is calling. Respond in kind. As Naruto held out his hands, the sky rumbled as it split. Hundreds of flying winged creatures descended from the heavens. The earth quaked as it cracked hands, ripping out of the earth. Monsters rising up, growling. Terrible screams could be heard. Minato had sweat running down his forehead as he looked towards the approaching mass of dreadful beasts coming. No, father, said Naruto. Let's end this, shall we? But guys, if you and subscribe right here. If you want the next person to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But more for now, see you guys soon. Peace.